Hello and welcome to M&B Airgun Review. Well, as many of you know, this was an unboxing the other day. This was a Sig Sauer PCP air rifle that was ordered from Pyramid Air. Props to Pyramid Air, they got it right out to me. Wonderful service as usual. When you order something, sometimes you get it done. I wouldn't describe the gun as a dud, but it definitely needed a little bit of help in a few areas. Upon inspection of the rifle, I discovered that the barrel was extremely loose. Now that's not the fault of Pyramid Air. They get these guns from Sig. That's going to be the fault of Sig, and as far as Sig goes, that's going to be the fault of the manufacturer that's actually making them in Japan. Sig is normally a high quality firearm company, and if you look aesthetically at this, you can tell that some research and development did go into it, but the final product, as far as quality control went, lacked a little bit to be desired. And if you've watched other YouTube videos out there, you'll know that you'll find that that's the case. There's a lot of negative reviews on this particular gun. This is the MCX VIRTUS PCP, chambered in 22, fires a 22 pellet. Now I did a few upgrades. I made the gun right. I did a video to it. It was just my way of doing it. I'm sure there's lots of ways of doing it. I hope Sig steps up their game and fixes these issues before they sell any more of these guns to consumers. But if you happen to have one and you want to make sure it's accurate and it's not firing right for you, this is a quick walkover that might help you. So what I did was, upon inspecting the barrel, I discovered it was extremely loose. The flash hider as well was loose, but what I noticed is when I tightened the flash hider up, the barrel got a little tighter. So I knew something was off in there. So we removed the hand guard, and I found that there's 4 screws up here that are extremely loose. So I tightened the barrel itself to the right, and then tightened those screws, and voila, the barrel was not loose anymore. Now, there's no way that this gun would have been accurate with that barrel that wobbly. Now this barrel free floats down through this whole rail until it comes into the end here, and it slides through a hole. Well, the tolerance on that hole wasn't as tight as it should be, and that was another issue that you would have with accuracy. So what I did is I used some carbon fiber, and I built up a ridge for this barrel to rest on and took up that gap. You may have different materials you'd like to use, but I assure you, if you make that fit tight there too, that's also going to help your accuracy, as it did with this gun. This gun is a tack driver. No way it would have been out of the box. And then my real issue, I guess my big concern when I unboxed this was the air tank. The moment I screwed the air tank into the receiver, I had an extreme amount of wobble. You want to go back to my last video for that demonstration. It's a long video, and I'll walk you through the process of what I did. It's long and it's boring, but if you have one, it might be worth the watch. And what I actually did is I actually shimmed inside the receiver to make the air tank tight. Now, there was a lot of people that were saying once you put air in the tank, it becomes tight. While that is true, the problem is when there's not air in the tank. What you're doing is you're moving the whole mechanism that's inside. That means you're moving your air tube, your nozzle, everything that's hooked up inside is fluctuating back and forth, and that's wear and tear on internal parts that you don't need. Now, instead of acknowledging the problem, Sig, what you should have did is machined this to the tolerances that I'm sure it was at one point. Obviously your tooling's off. So I used a shim. I shimmed it, and without air in the tank, it was snug and didn't have any excessive wobble. So that was a problem that was fixed. Now, I believe Sig did fix a problem that people complained about with this air rifle, and that's in the Magwell. Now there was a place, I'm not going to be able to show you a close-up, but inside there's a few videos out there if you care to research them, where your trigger mechanism rides over here. There was a ridge on the side of the Magwell, right on the side, on the inside. There was a ridge, and your trigger mechanism, when you went to pull the trigger, would jam up on that ridge, and you would have to literally move the trigger a certain way to get it to fire. Obviously, Sig has changed that, so that is something that's good and has been done. And I have had zero, failures with this trigger or with jamming. So the gun's not jamming at all. It's feeding rounds as long as you're using the right rounds. As long as you're using the right pellets, it'll feed fine. The barrel was clean out of the box, so that was good. Didn't have any excessive debris, anything like that, so that was nice. I'm curious to what you guys are running as far as pellets go in these guns too, so if you could tell me in the comment section below, because I have my recommendations and what I have used and what I think is the best. And if you know my channel by now, you'll know that I'm an H&N Hornet fan for 22 caliber. They do feed in this, and they feed very well. They're in it right now. An H&N Hornet fits in quite nicely, and as you know, they're precision pellets, and they're very uniform. They always fly pretty much the same every time. They fit in here beautifully. They work beautifully. They fire beautifully. They cycle beautifully. Your poly mags, your Predators. I used to recommend these pellets to everybody. I don't anymore, simply because something's happened with their quality control, and every pellet I get, their tin's full of damaged skirts. So they're kind of useless to me, and they've become very, very weak, where they deform before they even come out of the barrel and just carry no trajectory. If they would fix that issue, I would go back to them, but you cannot run these in the Sig. You can't run it in the VIRTUS. These, they're too long. So they're either going to catch on the ballistic tip end, or they're going to catch on the skirt feeding through, because they stick out on one side or the other, depending, it causing jams. It's going to jam the gun up. It's not going to cycle right. Once in a while you might get a good one through, but it's not going to work for you. So don't recommend these at all. As a matter of fact, they're just a do not do it. Do not try to cycle these pellets through this gun. It's not going to work for you, and you're going to call it names. Other than that, pretty much any pellet, as long as it's not a long slug, a heavy grain slug, a longer slug, they're not going to work either. Anything that's too long to fit in the belt is not going to work for you. I found that these H&N Hornets are perfect, and they cycle right, they fire right, and they're very consistent. Now, upon getting this gun on paper with this cheap center point red dot at about, I'm gonna say about 25-30 yards. And yeah, that's a long ways to sight in. Now this is from a bench though, okay? So we got it on paper with the red dot from a bench and didn't move the gun. I got no kick, so I could pretty much keep it clamped in. We used a vise, because I test my guns like that with a vise. I wanna make sure that there's no shooter operator error when I'm testing a gun. So we're looking for consistency. And with a red dot at 30 yards, we had a grouping that was a 3/4 inch spread. Okay, you can't see, it's tore up right here. 3/4 inch spread. That was with 6 shots, 6 quick right in a row, right after I got it on target on another paper target. Went right for it, boom, 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 put it in the same spot. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Probably couldn't have did any better with a regular rifle scope, with a powered rifle scope. I probably couldn't have did any better. So that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I'm impressed with it. For what it is, I'm very impressed with it. Now, how about quality and aesthetics of the rifle overall? Well, it's heavy. Definitely a heavy gun. Some people don't like polymer rails. I love polymer rails. I've been using them for years on the real deals and on the air guns. They're great. This is an M-lock system, which is fantastic. M-lock, love M-lock. I wish they would have came with a few Picatinny mounts. It's a good thing that Sig could do, is at least put a couple on there for you for a few cents that it cost them to get them, you know. Put them on there for you. This is going to get a foregrip. Not sure which one I want now. We're going to dress this up a little bit now that we got all the not going to say, yeah, I guess I can say defects. The defects fixed in it. We're going to dress it up and make it a little more comfortable for me. It's going to get a laser. It's going to get a foregrip. I'm probably going to experiment with some, even though this is a very comfortable ergonomic grip, there is more comfortable out there. I'm probably going to swap that out. Air tank holds air. I have no leaks. It's at 3,000 pounds right now. And if you watched my last video, you know I actually purchased a very inexpensive hand pump to test to see the quality to use on this gun out in the field. It worked great. Blew it up to 3,000 pounds. I'll keep it topped off, and I let this sit and let it sit, let it sit. It's losing no air, so that's a good thing. Not losing. You don't want to lose air, and it's good and tight, good and sturdy. Gun has no rattles anymore. Doesn't shake. Yeah, I'm impressed. Now I'm impressed. Shout out to Pyramid Air for shipping this to me. I appreciate it. This isn't a paid promotion. I didn't get the gun for free. I pay regular price, but they're a good company to deal with, and I respect them in their customer service, their professionalism. Sig, you're a very professional company also. Step on this one though a little bit. As customers, we don't want to have to buy a new gun and then have to spend a couple days getting the bugs out. Now, that being said, Sig was willing to take this gun back. They actually sent me a shipping label. Problem was, it was over a 2-week turnaround time, probably closer to 3, and I don't know what I'm getting back. And I got a model that I live by, and if you want something done right, you do it yourself, especially if you have the ability to do it yourself. So I did it myself, and I'm pleased with the results. I am pleased with the gun. I'm not sorry that I purchased the gun by any means, but if you do purchase one, purchase from a reputable retailer, online or local, whatever you got to do, and make sure you get it knowing there might be something you need to do. Check it out thoroughly. What I did here, each thing that I did here was not hard. I did everything in real time on my last video on this gun in real time, and I think it took about a half an hour to fix the issues. So that's not too bad. But it'd be nice if we bought it and there was no issues. And by the way, Pyramid Air, I called them up and I made them aware of the situation, and they were happy to know. They wanted to know the situation with the gun, so maybe they could let Sig know what the situation with it was. And they were willing to take the gun back. I said, no, it's no problem. Sig was going to take the gun back and either fix it or repair it, and I said, no, we're good. We're good. I'll take care of this, guys. But I really appreciate the customer service all the way around. In the world we live in today, there's some companies out there that lie to you, want to cheat, steal, embezzle, you name it. I'm not going to name any names, but I had some orders recently that kind of went awry on the shipping department, and they kind of blowed smoke. They don't realize, you know, a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of you out there are businessmen and ship a lot and receive a lot, and as do I. And sometimes they don't know that they're talking to somebody who's in the same business that they are, so it's kind of hard to lie to us. But anyhow, I digress. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and we'll be talking to you soon.